Good day, office hours. Howers are you? You know what? I didn't schedule this one this time. I've been scheduling them and then going live like 5 minutes later, like scheduling them 5 minutes ahead of time. I didn't schedule this one, and I think it means nobody saw on YouTube or Twitch that I was going live because I am seeing far fewer people there than usually I see when I go live. Also, I'm going live a little early. Here, oh, there. G. James B is here. We can begin. Batfink's here too. Okay, you guys need to pass this along to everybody else as folks arrive. I have made the decision, and those who have the editor's desk feed might already know this. I have made the decision to do the editor's desk separately from the office hours. Not because of paywall stuff, as I mentioned on the editor's desk, but because enough people said, in fact, the most common response was like, yeah, I don't mind if you have it on the stream. I just don't like having it in two places. Or they might not even say I don't like having it in two places. They might have said, I just have to remember to skip it if I've already listened to it in the other place. And that was the part that made me go, well, that's not an ideal user experience. So editor's desk back to being its own thing. Regular old editor's desk. If you get it on the Patreon, you'll keep getting it. If you've been getting it on the live stream, well, now you have to become a patron. And instead, I'm just going to do a generic mailbag because we've been getting some emails regarding stuff I talk about on office hours that's not part of the editor's desk. And so on Tuesdays, I'll just do that. I'll just read some of the emails that have been sent in response to office hours and Hangout. Honestly, I'll talk about the Hangout stuff too. Also, if you are a patron, and if you're just a watch on the live stream, this won't matter at all. If you are a patron, then the office hours is going to move to the bonus feed on Patreon. If you don't get the bonus feed and you want to keep getting office hours, you might want to try getting the bonus feed. But if you have the DTNS live feed and you were one of those people who's like, I don't mind office hours, but then I have to think, is that DTNS live or not? That won't happen. I think I'm going to leave the Friday Hangout in the DTNS live feed for now because it's kind of like more like DTNS live. We'll see how that goes. But yeah. And then just know that if you watch the live stream, I will probably not be sticking on office hours strictly to a 1 o'clock time, 1 o'clock Pacific time. I will try to go near 1 o'clock. But again, the idea with office hours is it's casual. It needs to fit my day. And especially on Tuesdays, I have to go into Cord Killers at 2:30. So if I get to a point in my work that's close enough to 1, like today, I'm like, why sit around and pretend like I'm not ready to go live? So I just went live. And also I wanted to make sure that BioCow had some company on his dog walk. How's the dog doing, BioCow? Look down. Yeah, doing good? All right, good. Well, there you go. So that's all the news about the world that I can think of. Hey, Philly Code Hound. Why are you saying, oh, with so many W's? Did I step on your foot? Dog's awesome, BioCow says. All right. Oh, yeah, let me just turn on comments so everybody can see him. All the news, as are you, BioCow. You're awesome, too. Oh, being nice to BioCow. Nice. Being nice is nice. It's nice to be nice. I am going to make sure that I share this screen. So if I need it later, I can get to it. Hello, Seth. You rock too. It's all about convenience. And then I will go into the mail. All right. I am going to save that Norm one. Andrew wrote, in office hours today, you mentioned that new model releases like Claude Sonnet might not really meet the bar for newsworthiness. I can definitely see where you're coming from because even as a software engineer who has integrated these models into daily coding use, I don't really care about new releases until or unless I can use them. My current client has our team using Amazon's Q tool. I looked at its newest update, couldn't find 4.5 and moved on for now. One of the things I really enjoy about the new patron format, though, is catching those maybe stories. That is a request that I've gotten many times over the years. You may have even heard me talk about it before, where someone says, hey, why don't you do a show where you talk about all the stories that didn't make it into the main show? And that's kind of what office hours can be, but I think it gets around my main objection to that, which is my main objection to a show that's all the stories that didn't make it in the main show is that there's this suspicion, and it's usually based on one story somebody liked that didn't make it into the main show, that there's all these other stories that are really interesting, and that there's enough of them for a whole other show. Fact of the matter is, if it wasn't good enough for the main show, probably wasn't a very interesting story. Probably wasn't worth discussing. Probably wasn't that groundbreaking. And so I think with office hours, the context gives me the chance to look at something and just talk about whether it's interesting or not right from the top, right? And so it gets mentioned, but it doesn't have the pressure on it to deliver on the promise of Daily Tech News Show, which the main show is helping you understand. Like, okay, we need to have something to say about this, or just knowing about it is something worth knowing. But if it doesn't meet those criteria, it doesn't belong in the show. And then we have to pick the 30 minutes worth of the most important of those. And a show that's like, here's the next 30 minutes of less important stories is not going to be as good. It's just not, or else those stories would have made it in the main show. So anyway, I think that's what office hours can play, is sort of, here's a look at why a story makes it into the main show or not. Here's a look at what Tom's thinking about a story before he's formulated his entire pitch. For instance, what was that story in briefing today? There was a story that I changed my mind on since I talked about it in office hours. Well, we actually did have the Anthropic stuff, but we did it in a quick hit to be like, new model, just so you know, which I think is appropriate now. It was OpenAI doing the social app for Sora 2 created videos. And yesterday on the office hours, I was very dismissive. I was like, they're trying to make fetch happen. This is, Meta AI is doing this. Who wants this? But the more I thought about it, and my formulated response once I got to DTNS was that this is for enthusiasts. If I am messing around with these tools a lot and trying different things, I want to share my discoveries when I make them, and I want to see the discoveries other people have made. So it has its use. It's not meant to compete with TikTok, which is, that's a problem with the framing of the story, that a lot of people's like, OpenAI and Meta have launched TikTok competitors, but they have to be AI generated. And like, no, these aren't TikTok competitors. These are enthusiast tools for experimenting. Larry said, one history podcast I listen to will do a show that contains 10 or so events that wouldn't be long enough for a full podcast. That is worth doing, right? Like the sort of, bits and bobs, which is kind of why Anthropic made it into DTNS today, was, well, we're not going to do a whole story on it, but we've got a little time, so we'll mention it. BioCal points out that if we wait 10 days to collect 10 stories, then some of those stories will be 10 days old. Good point. Let's see. Anon Jr. Oh, remember we were talking about SQL servers? The best database tool depends a lot on the scope and size of the project SQL server, and MySQL are overkill for some projects. SQLite is a better analog, but if you're working in a Microsoft shop, access is almost certainly already available. Having said all that, the hot and talked about solutions all focus on stuff hosted elsewhere, even when it's not practical or recommended. I've seen more than a few SaaS projects that could easily have been a local solution. There's enough legacy projects and use as a less expensive tool for modeling and mockups that I wouldn't discourage learning Access without more information. So he's saying, you know what? There might be a really good reason to learn Access. That was the person asking about Access. I don't know if they're here today or if they'll hear this, but there you go. Jason writes, I heard your problems about watching videos due to DRM. If you turn off hardware acceleration in your browser, it will allow playback. This is a very good tip from Jason. I think I might have talked about this on the Hangout. Chrome, settings, system, use graphics acceleration when available. Firefox, general, performance, uncheck, use recommended performance settings, use hardware acceleration when available. I turned these on to watch YouTube and Netflix with my fiance while she was living in a different country while on a Discord call. Saved so much headache about syncing start times or pausing. I've not seen any negative effects on anything else on the web. Hope this helps you with watching content on your local notebook. This is great. If you are having a problem with a browser-based video of YouTube and sharing it like in Discord, like Jason, this will be very helpful. Sadly, the Apple TV app was the one I was having a problem with in our hotel. So that wouldn't have helped me. But that doesn't mean I don't appreciate Jason writing in with the help. I very much did. R.W. Nash always does. If you don't know Roger, he does these great responses on Patreon. If you want a model of the kind of feedback we love to get, look at his posts on Patreon. He responded, "Just listening to you discussing the news is great." Talking about yesterday's office hours. "Is Apple Vision Show coming back, please?" Probably not. Sort of, it's in Sarah and Eileen's court to give you the final word on that. And they've talked about it, and they'll do it at some point, but I think maybe no. Windows S, is that still a thing? I mean, not really, but machines with it still exist. Google requires you to have a UK digital ID. Cough. Office times are good times. Thank you, R.W. Nash. Love those. I love that feedback. All right. Let's take a look at some news before I get to Norm's big feedback. Do you really need hardware acceleration on a beefy desktop? What's the purpose? Yeah, you kind of don't. Fred, are the Spice Bag and a Poutine kissing cousins? That is an excellent question. So if you didn't hear about Spice Bag, we talked about it on DTNS and other shows previously. Jason had it in Ireland. It's basically what it sounds like, a bag of spice with potatoes and some shredded chicken and stuff, veggies. It's delicious. But yeah, when you think about it, it's a potato-based delivery mechanism of flavor and other items. So yeah, I don't know if they're kissing cousins. I wouldn't want to speak to that, Fred. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, I feel like I don't know if it's like a genus, phylum, species, how big the category is, but there's a category in which the Spice Bag and poutine coexist. We need a taxonomy of food. There probably is one. Let me know what it is. feedback@dailytechnewsshow.com. All right, let's go to the news. Let's see what's in the news. Since last I checked the news, not much. Ragtime sells out first previews. Hamilton hits. See, Broadway's back. You may have heard Broadway is dying on We're Not Wrong. Making a comeback. DoorDash robot dog. We talked about that on DTNS. Romania plans defensive drone production with Ukraine. Maybe. Let's mark that one. Just maybe. NBC Universal and YouTube TV having a distribution fight. Yeah, that's for real. It's not just for cable anymore. K-pop Demon Hunters breaks another Netflix record with 15 straight weeks on the top 10. All right, I got to save that for Cord Killers. Okay, Anthropic targets Enterprise. Okay, yep, those I've read all those. Great. Oh, this is the music thing. I never read through all of these. That's for Brian and Eileen. Send It, sued by the FTC for illegal collection of children data. Probably because they just don't discriminate. So if a child uses it, it collects data. They're not gating it. I say that without having read the story, though, so that might not be true. Don't take that as the story. All right, let's see. I have to add a couple of Cord Killer stories that are late breaking. BravoCon will stream all its panels. Tubi is going to stream one of the Thanksgiving Day NFL games. So this is old-fashioned office hours going on here. That I'm actually just doing work. Tubi will live stream Fox's NFL game. Share this tab instead. All right. There's another NFL story in here, is there not? Maybe not. Okay, boy, we're going to have a lot of stories. Tubi will stream this year's Thanksgiving Day NFC North Showdown Live for free. Packers Lions will be available across Fox and Tubi. Look at that. Tubi will stream this year's Thanksgiving. All right. The NFL will be across Fox and Tubi. Feature local advertising from Fox stations. Ooh, that's an important point. Tubi also live streamed the 2025 Super Bowl, setting a record. All right, there we go. That's how it's done. Oh, what's the rest of the story? In June, Tubi announced that it now has more than 100 million. Oh, yeah, okay. It's just that stuff. BravoCon. Did anyone know that BravoCon existed? I am adding this because I didn't know that there was such a thing. All panels from BravoCon will be available to stream. Bravo Celebrities. The Valley, The Traders, Real Housewives. Exclusive streaming home of BravoCon. Did you know? Did you know that fans of Bravo and Andy Cohen? It's kind of crazy. All right. K-pop Demon Hunters breaks another Netflix record with 15 straight weeks in the top 10. Boy, these are just, there's just a lot of news. A lot. I didn't think there was going to be that much news, but there's a lot of news. Had its 15th straight week on the Netflix top 10, become the longest running title ever on the English language film chart, held by Red Notice. Red Notice charted. Oh, Red Notice was not consecutive. K-pop Demon Hunters. Consecutive weeks. K-pop Demon Hunters is consecutive weeks. I'm continuously shocked. All right, there we did. There we did all. Did you need to know Ambassador Domo? Yes, you did. Ambassador Domo is watching baseball, as should I be. Let's see. The Tigers and the Guardians have finished their game. The Padres and the Cubs have begun their game. At 3 o'clock Pacific is Red Sox Yankees, and 6 o'clock tonight, Reds Dodgers. I, on the other hand, have switched to my St. Louis Blues cup, as my tradition is to keep the cup of the Blues until the Blues are out of the playoffs or the season ends without them going to the playoffs, and then switch to the Cardinals mug and keep that until the Cardinals are out of the playoffs or the Cardinals don't go to the playoffs. I wish it was Mets Dodgers too, Fred, because then Ron and Eileen could have a fun little bet. Zoe, you love bacon and coffee. Feels like baseball is not a big jump for you, you know? Oh, shush, BioCow. You bring Amos on your side there with your anti-baseball commentary. All right. I think I'm going to put that away for now. Not a lot of other stuff there. I'm going to talk about this quite a bit on Cord Killers, but did you all see, actually, you know what? I I'm going to bring this back up. I'm going to bring that screen back up. Did you hear about the actress Tilly Norwood? Anybody hear about Tilly Norwood? They're putting words on my screen. You're putting words on my screen. I've been to baseball games at the stadium for the Twin Cities. Yeah. Baseball's. I think baseball's fun. Who's heard of Tilly Norwood? Yes, E. Clay Thomason, the AI actress. That is correct. Tilly Norwood debuted. Well, it says debuted, but she didn't debut. They discussed her. She debuted in July with a Facebook post from this production company of a video of her in a comedy sketch from this company. Tilly Norwood is a generated person who they are billing as an actor, and Eline van der Velden of this production company, Particle 6, has said that they will have Tilly Norwood signed to a talent agency within the next couple of months. And so that caused then SAG to get very bent out of shape, saying, we have contracts about virtual actors and you should not be having them. And Tilly Norwood is not an actor and we don't like it, basically. Tilly Norwood is not an actor. It has no life experience to draw from. But they're also upset about the copyright provenance of the training data. So that would imply that Tilly Norwood does have life experience to draw from, just not Tilly Norwood's life experience, because Tilly Norwood isn't real. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to Brian about this one. Brian's very AI optimistic. So I expect him, to kind of come on that side of it. But I bet he'll surprise us with some of his takes on this. Right now, this is a publicity stunt at the Zurich Film Festival. Let's take a look. Let's go to the tape. Let's take a look at this is the actual.
We all knew TV was already in love. Girl next.
And I don't want to get taken down, so I'm not going to play the whole thing. But I think it's fair to play just this little bit of it where they have Tilly Norwood on screen. There is Tilly Norwood.
Sunday Roast went to drama school and got BAFTA optimized.
But can she cry on Graham Norton?
Yes.
Of course she can.
There she
and
is.
It'll be clipped, subtitled,
Crying
and monetized on.
I want to hear her voice though. Where's the first appearance of her?
I'm already in love. Girl next door vibes.
Girl next door vibes.
Like if a Sunday Roast went to drama school and got BAFTA optimized.
But can she cry on Graham Norton?
Is it later? Oh yeah, it's later. Here we go.
3 seasons and a podcast.
Fine.
There you go. 3 seasons and a podcast. That's what she said. So, yeah. AIMDb, bad fake. That's good. Yeah. There's Tilly Norwood, the virtual actor. I'm going to refer to Tilly Norwood as it because it is an AI, and in this discussion anyway, because it is an AI creation. We're talking about a product from Particle 6, and I think that's clarifying. But I imagine if I were to talk about it in other contexts, like let's say Tilly Norwood stars in a movie, it would be more appropriate to say she to be clarifying that, you're talking about the persona, right? When you talk about fictional characters, you don't say it, right? I mean, assuming that is the proper pronoun, but that's what Particle 6 is using to refer to Tilly Norwood. So, yeah. She could sell vibe coding or vibe working. I love hearing about vibe working. Don't you? All right. There was another story that I thought about bringing up. Oh, you know what? This one is not very fun. And we didn't. Jason mostly chooses the stories when he does the show on Tuesdays and Fridays. I'll weigh in if I'm like, ooh, I think we really should do this. But generally, if I don't have a huge problem or I don't see a gaping hole, I'm not going to say anything because it's all a matter of taste. But we didn't talk about this. Where I might have, it's kind of on the edge, but the government in Afghanistan has turned off cell phone internet service. Let me see if I can find a non-Reuters paywalled version, like a Yahoo Finance version or something. Yeah. Oh, we actually have a development in the story, according to Yahoo. So, UN calls for Taliban to restore internet. They basically unplugged the fiber so that there is no internet in Afghanistan. It says they cut the fiber. I'm not going to say they didn't. Maybe they actually took a big pair of shears and cut the fiber, which would be harder to repair. But however they did it, they disconnected it from the source, right? From the trunk lines, from satellite receivers. There is no internet going into the pipes and cell phone towers in Afghanistan. And the UN is now calling on them to restore it. 24 hours ago, nationwide blackout, saying they need to prevent immorality. Afghans are unable to contact each other. Online businesses in the banking system have froze. Those abroad cannot send remittances. Flights have been canceled out of Kabul airport. Left Afghanistan completely cut off from the outside world. Phones still work if they're plain old telephone service, right? So wired phones still work. And the BBC was able to call someone and talk to them. This is not, so BioCow asks a good question. Don't countries do this all the time? Not like this. Countries will tell ISPs to cut off service, but they will then leave it up for certain things, right? They'll cut off the public's access to the internet, for sometimes I've heard it say like, we need to stop people from cheating on exams. But they generally leave it on for essential services, for hospitals, for banks. This is literally unplugging the country. From what this reporting is saying is no one has internet. They've had to cancel flights. That doesn't happen when Turkey pauses the internet. That doesn't even happen when countries on the African continent have blocked the internet. Nobody goes and unplugs it from the wall and says nobody gets it. This is unprecedented. First time since 2021 when the Taliban took over that they have turned off the internet for anybody. But a bank worker says, I can't work, can't run any business. Post office was unable to operate because it needs the bank services to carry out its work. The fiber warned the AFP minutes before the shutdown. A government official warned the AFP that the fiber optic network would be cut, impacting mobile phone service until further notice. There isn't any other way or system to communicate. The banking sector, customs, everything across the country will be affected. Any telephone service that's routed over the internet doesn't work. And the telecommunications ministry refused to let journalists enter the building. Yeah. On September 16th, when the first internet services were cut in northern provinces, they say this is ordered by the leader of the Taliban. This measure was taken to prevent vice, and alternative options will be put in place across the country to meet connectivity needs. So that implies that they want to make sure that only people they want to have the internet, and they couldn't figure out how to do that easily. So they just turned it all off until they could figure out how to reconnect it piece by piece. Yeah, that's not a good way to do it. In 2024, Kabul touted its 9,350-kilometer fiber optic network built by the former U.S.-backed government as a priority to bring the country closer to the rest of the world. Not today. Yikes. That's an extreme example. Yeah, so it seems like they really don't want to get rid of the internet in the country. They just want to tightly control who has access to it. And it was so pervasive because of the US backed build out that they couldn't figure out how to turn it off for the people they didn't want to have it. It's like saying, you know what, just unplug it and then we're going to rerun lines to the people we want to have it. I bet that's what they're doing. It's like they were mad at their face and so they cut off their nose. Yeah, Fred, I see everybody's taking the angle of women and girls were using it for education, which is absolutely true. But I think this story goes beyond that. And I say that not to minimize the plight of women in Afghanistan, but the plight of women in Afghanistan was pretty bad. And so, yes, this takes away one more thing, but I don't think they did this for that. This is beyond that. So that is one of the many ramifications of this. Certainly not a good one, but I don't know that they did this to stop women from getting an education. It's beyond that. It's beyond just that. You know what I mean? You're right though. Maybe it's not, maybe you're mad at your face and you cut off your face is a better metaphor, Fred. You're just cutting off your face to spite your face. All right. Let's get to Norm's feedback. Tell me what you think of this. He didn't send this to editor's desk, but he gave feedback on everything. Here's the feedback for office hours. It's a little surreal hearing Tom interact with the audience. It really feels like conversations, which is interesting. I've been using this more as background listening. I actually set it on a timer last night before bed. Good night, Norm. Sleep well. You worked hard today. You deserve your rest. Okay, is Norm asleep? Okay, we can go back to talking now. Editor's Desk, a must listen. Selfishly, the Tuesday showtime throws me off. I've got feedback to share, but it's still great. I know there were one or two that were recorded as live episodes, but for me, those aren't really adding much. Kind of confusing, actually. That's why we're not doing Editor's Desk here anymore. I likely will just stick to the future scrubbed Editor's Desk. Well, good. Those are the only ones you'll get, so that's okay. All right, weekend specials. Thought this was interesting. What did you all think of our weekend interview with Dr. Jerry Tolbert about Tylenol? Norm thought it was illuminating. As usual, it's a complicated situation. Someone could walk away thinking Tylenol is bad, but there's nuance that gets lost. I think that nuance is sometimes used by one side to push an agenda. I haven't looked back through all the past specials, but I think this is a great opportunity for DTNS to branch out. You have the credibility to go beyond tech stories and interviews, and I think you're already doing that. Oh, that's nice to know. Good night, John Boy. Good night, Norm Boy. Monthly recap show. This is the one I did with Jen Cutter. This was my first time listening. Well, good, because it was our first time doing it. And I really liked it. The What Did ChatGPT Say Were the Top Headlines segment was fun to hear and compare with what you actually covered. I think I heard Tom mention this on the episode, but some introspection about what was covered and what wasn't would be great. Maybe even the reverse. Something that seemed big early in the month, but turned out to be smoke. Please keep this going. You say this a lot, Norm, but you're not the only one. We're like, what's the story you thought was going to be big and then turned out not to be? It's like, I rarely can think of one. There are definitely trends that everyone thought would be bigger and didn't turn out to be big. There are trends that we covered with skepticism and said, well, we're getting a lot of stuff about NFTs. Maybe they'll go somewhere, maybe they aren't, and they haven't gone anywhere yet. But there's rarely something that we talk about early in the month as big and then turns out it wasn't big, because that's not how we choose our stories. We choose our stories based on what everyone is talking about, and then we interpret them. So I rarely look back and say, oh, I wish we hadn't covered that. It wasn't as big as we thought. But I don't know, maybe there's something to everybody thought this was going to have a bigger effect and it didn't. Usually in a month, that's not the case though. Usually it takes more time to play out. Monthly bonus show, one of my favorite DTNS shows, but the September episode got lost in my feed. Haven't listened. Haven't had time to listen to Live With It. Let's see. Regular show. This is Daily Tech News Show. I like the mix of hosts. Sarah has subbed back in beautifully. I miss hearing Roger and Justin, but the show remains my go-to 30 minutes of tech news. And while I like Dr. Nikki and Andy Beach, it'd be nice to get more folks in for interviews. Andy especially. He seems to be the go-to AI guy. It'd be good to have some other perspectives. Then DTH, Daily Tech Headlines. The occasional posting issues seem to have cleared up. It's still one of the most useful shows in my feed. Quick, clean, and informative. I want to quote Norm on some of these and just like put them on our website. I will ask him that. Oh, Clinton's watching on Rewind, so he won't get this for 15 minutes. But hi, Clinton. Good to see you. All right, let's see. Any other news that has come in the last couple of minutes here? Amazon unveils revamped Echo devices. Yeah, we talked about that a lot. Anybody order any of the new Amazon stuff? I ordered the Echo Studio to put it in our living room. Right now we have the what's it called? The Echo that's good for smart home is what I call it. It was the last of the cylinder Echoes, right? And the Studio is probably the biggest, the closest to that since they remodeled that. I've got the Echo Studio coming whenever it ships in October. I think it's like at the end of October, October 29th, something like that. I am curious about the music quality. They really, really tried to sell me on this is going to sound great. Music's going to sound so much better on this. So I'm going to see. I'm going to see how that works. Anybody else get anything? G. James B says Ecto Studio. BioCow says Echo Hockey Puck. These are questions, though. I don't know if that means that you bought them. I'm not a Kindle device user. I use the Kindle app. Oh, you're only 2 minutes behind. So 2 minutes from now, well, maybe 3 with the lag, you'll hear me say that. Oh, did AOL end its service today because it's September 30th? Did we miss this? Let's see. Can I sign up? Free trial. Oh, of System Mechanic. Thought it was a free trial for their service, which is ending. Yeah, I can't sign up for their ISP right now. Okay, that's good. Long and coming. September 29th. Oh, it was yesterday was the last day. Give a little screech for AOL ending its dial-up service. All right. Hey, Amos.
Hey there, Tom.
Just in time. I was just asking people if they bought any Amazon stuff, and we were talking about the Echoes post DTNS earlier today. You have the original Studio, is that right? The previous Echo Studio, which I think a lot of people forget, including myself, forget even existed. Because it was focused on music as well, but it wasn't marketed as a general purpose Echo.
Right. I am hearing myself back.
Oh, right, because I was playing YouTube videos earlier. Sorry about that.
The original Studio was actually an add-on for the Echo Mac, the Echo something. You had to use it in basically a stereo pair, and then the Studio would
You could use it. I looked it up. You could use it alone, but it was not meant. It would not work to its optimal features if you did that.
Yeah.
Oh no, are you in Afghanistan? I love that part of your laughter squeaked through the internet to us there. Yeah. He looks so sad without his internet. Look. We just wanted to talk about Echoes, internet. Why are you silencing Amos?
I'm used to it.
Okay, there you are. Now you're back.
It was really bass heavy, so it didn't sound all that great, but you put it in with a matched pair, and it sounded really good. But then you could only Bluetooth in if you wanted an external source.
Right.
So you couldn't use it as a home theater because, most home theaters don't have Bluetooth going out to 3.1 sound or 2.1 sound or whatever.
No. I mean, some do, but it's pretty rare.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, your Apple TV doesn't. That's what I primarily watch TV on.
Right.
So I could never get the 2 to work together. Or the 3, I guess. 4.
So you did a pair of Echoes for home stereo then?
Yeah.
Nice.
For a long time, that was the sound system we had in the basement.
Nice.
Now
I was kind of
so.
poo-pooing, like, not that many people are going to buy enough Echoes to make this surround sound, but I forgot, like, but more people might buy 2,
Yeah. Yeah. Stereo pairs actually work really well with the Echoes. I've had better luck with the Echoes working in stereo pairs than I have with the HomePods. I always have one HomePod that's just like a millisecond behind the other, so there's just this little discordant fear.
Oh yeah, that's bad.
And I thought it might be just how I had them placed because we had them down here in the basement when we were using this as our primary living room. And I would play it, and they'd play fine, but then they'd gradually grow out of sync with the Apple TV. Oh. And then when I put them upstairs, as long as it's only one, it works fine. But you put the pair together up there, and I think the one we have on our left is just a hair behind the one on the right, so it just sounds like the sound's trying to push you to the left.
That's not optimal. That's not Apple-like even.
Yeah, and I'm at the point now where I'm like, I don't know, maybe this is why they discontinued them. the original HomePods.
Yeah. Although it's a networking issue, so
yeah,
presumably, I mean, there could be a hardware reason why they couldn't make it work, but presumably it would be just keeping everything in sync is the challenge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it works great. It sounds amazing. You get like for a while there we had my two HomePods, the original big HomePods, and then 2 HomePod minis, and the sound was very full, it was very accurate. It just wouldn't stay in sync with the Apple TV when they were talking, so the words would be slightly off. Now, that being said, I have been using the new A+ from Amazon.
Yeah.
The
right.
Assistant
Because
Plus.
you signed up for the early access program and got in. You got in like a week ago.
Like 5 days ago. Yeah.
Okay.
Like late last week. It seems more accurate. It does seem more conversational. It doesn't seem as robotic, and it will allow you to continue a conversation with it as opposed to just having to readdress it every single time. So, and it actually works better on some of my older devices than the old version did. And
so when you're using it on the older devices, it's all cloud, which is no different than the old Amazon, which was just checking for the wake word and then sending everything to the cloud.
Right.
They implied today that the newer ones do some stuff locally because they need to have that new chip, but it was unclear what they're doing locally. But I say all that to say, like, yeah, there's no reason the old ones shouldn't be able to take advantage of it once you get access.
Down here in the office, I have got a Echo Show 5 that's, I think, 2 generations old. I think it's either the first or second generation, and it was glitchy, and no matter how many times I reset it, retried it, whatever else, it never quite worked right the last year. And since I said because I applied for the early access and then they offered it, and I said yes. Once I did that, it basically rebooted all of my Echoes, and now this one down here in particular is running great.
There must be a software update that comes as well.
Yeah, it must be something significant because. This thing, like I said, it's been glitching for the last year, and it's working solid right now.
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to be admitted into the early access program for Alexa Plus the day before my new Echo Studio arrives, when I would get it anyway. That's my prediction. I'll get the email like, congratulations, you've been accepted into the early access.
I did not get an email. I got an alert on my Echo.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
That's actually better, because if I part of me is sitting here thinking like, did I just miss an email like where they said I was in? But I should have just gotten an alert on my Echo, which I'm less likely to miss because the yellow light comes on and all that.
Yeah, I originally saw it on my Echo Show 5 down here in the office, which is again the old one, and it said it, and I was like, that's got to be some kind of advertisement or something like that. 'Cause Echo, this
just
is
trying to
never
trick you into
accurate. Like it's
trying to buy
glitching
something.
right now as it's showing me the thing, you know.
Uh-huh.
And then I went upstairs and was making. I was making my lunch, and we have the newer show 8s or whatever, the one that pivots and tries to look at you and stuff.
Oh yeah.
We have that one up there in the kitchen, and it said the same thing. And I was like, okay. So
Like this one tends to know what it's talking about.
yeah, I tapped the yes, and it came out with the new voice and was like, are you ready to experience the new Alexa Plus or whatever? And I was like, yes. And it said, okay, Anthony. And that's all it said. And then like within an hour, all my Echoes were updated.
Wow.
And I was like, all right, okay, all right.
And you're finding it significantly better from what you're saying.
It's a little snappier and not having to say the wake word on multiple commands. Like,
Just have conversation.
Yeah, you can say, turn on studio, turn off this particular light.
What
And
about questions though? Have you tried a lot of like informative? Because that's the one thing we sometimes do it on purpose because we know it's going to be hilariously wrong, and we'll ask it stuff.
Well, what would you like me to ask it, Tom?
Well, I'm just curious if you've asked it anything, and then maybe I'll come up with something, or people in the chat can.
Just normal conversational stuff, things that I would normally ask, like what's the weather going to be like or whatever,
But you haven't asked like, what's the score of the Dodgers game, or sport you care about.
Yeah, any real sport. Let's see. Alexa, how'd the 49ers game go this weekend?
The San Francisco 49ers lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars 26-21 last Sunday. Would you like to check the 49ers' current standings in the league?
No, I would like to know how many yards Brock Purdy threw for.
That's a good one.
Christian McCaffrey, the 49ers running back, has gained 391 yards from scrimmage through the first 4 weeks of the NFL season.
What about Brock Purdy?
Brock Purdy has thrown for 586 yards
There
this
we go.
season. He's completed 48 of 73 passes for a 85.8 passer rating.
So the comprehension was not as good.
And how many interceptions does he have?
Brock Purdy has thrown 4 interceptions this season.
It's not bad.
I mean, the conversation continues, and
Yeah. Got
I can
one,
still see the
one
little
name
blue-
wrong. Yeah.
yeah, I can still see the blue line, like pulsing underneath, waiting
So
for my
you
next
know.
response.
Yeah. The
it's not
reefer
bad.
Mike prefers to let the weather surprise him. Depends on where you live.
Well, it's very surprising today. We were supposed to have rain today and partly sunny tomorrow, and then rain on Thursday, and it's really sunny outside right now.
Wow, that is bright.
Yeah. Granted, it's only 48 degrees, but it's very sunny.
We had rain last week, so we won't get it again for a couple of years.
There's a nice rain joke in the episode we watched today for Cord Killers.
Oh yeah, there is. Yeah. The Panhandle Texans kind of have a similar climate, so that makes sense. We're watching Yellowstone, if anybody doesn't know, for the full experience that Brian and Amos and I do for the Cord Killers folks.
Yeah.
I'll save my thoughts. No spoilers. I watched that episode. That's what.
Yes, that's accurate. That's what I was doing right before I popped in here.
Yeah. Did you finish?
I did.
Yeah. Okay.
Then I had to send the wife off because my daughter's driving her to her surgery. So immediately after Cord Killers, I'll be driving down there to pick her up. But
yeah.
But yeah,
minor surgery, right?
Yeah,
just because people
outpatient surgery. I don't know how minor it is. I saw the video. It looks pretty rough to me.
Okay, but not like she could die on the table.
Yeah, she's not getting her arm amputated.
Yeah, it's not a new. She's not getting a new heart or anything.
Yeah, no. But yeah,
when you say surgery these days, people immediately still assume like, oh, you're getting your brain replaced. It's like no,
she's doing some carpal tunnel related stuff.
Yeah,
so
that's good. That's good. Hopefully that all turns out well.
Yeah, well, that would be the hope.
That's it. Another thing. I think you can back me up on this. Was it your experience that when people in Korea said they were going to the hospital, it just meant they were going to the doctor?
Yep.
That throws me off when I watch these K-dramas and they're like, you should go to the hospital. I'm like, for a cut on your finger? Like, And it's like, oh no, the hospital is everything, right?
Yeah,
It's
any kind of medical facility
Yeah.
is a hospital.
yeah, it's what we would say like go to urgent care for.
Yeah.
They'll say hospital.
Yeah, or
Same
family
kind of
doctor. They're saying hospital. So.
Getting new tonsils. Yep, go to the hospital. So G. James B, did you get your tonsils replaced instead of just removed? Like you got new ones?
And was it an upgrade or a parallel move?
Yeah. Were they used or new? Because, as soon as you get those tonsils put in, the depreciation begins right away.
I actually waited for my ex-wife to get her tonsils removed to tell her that I wanted a divorce so she couldn't yell at me. True story.
Strategic, Amos. Very strategic.
True story. Yep.
Yeah.
So we argued for about 4 hours writing it down on cardboard.
Wow. How very Bob Dylan of you. Or in excess, depending on what era you're from.
Yeah. More in excess than Bob Dylan, but yeah.
Yeah.
Then it took 14 more months to get it done. So there's that.
Well, fun times. I'm sure you want to relive them in detail.
No, thank you.
No, sir, I don't like it.
No, don't like it. Don't like it at all.
All right. Any news come in while we were chatting away here?
I did see something, but I don't remember what it was.
It says there are 17 new stories, but I don't see them. Oh, there we go. Reading Rainbow is back and stars Michael Threets. Huh.
Okay.
Being revived with Michael the Librarian, Michael Threets, YouTuber. Wow. That's interesting. You know what?
Reading
I may
Rainbow
not put that in court
so
killers.
formative for me.
Really?
Yeah.
It was for my brother, too.
Absolutely loved it.
I think you and my brother are close to the same age too, so that makes sense.
I'm this pseudo like half generation behind you, Tom. Like
Yeah, you're still Gen X, but
yeah, you're like mid early Gen X, and I'm like
Yeah.
very late Gen X.
I'm smack dab in the middle.
Yeah.
Because my sister is Gen X, and she's like, "You're late Gen X." I'm like, "No, I'm not." I'm like, towards the beginning.
Yeah.
Kind
Gen X
of.
was a big group.
Yeah, they're all made up.
Yeah. Yep.
Ooh, Dutch Brothers Coffee opens its first location in L.A.
I'm sorry.
What is Dutch Brothers Coffee?
It is a little coffee shack that you can go up to and get coffee from.
Like a drive up.
Yeah, they're really popular in the SeaTac area.
Oh, okay.
And they do coffee and they do other drinks as well, like Red Bull and things like that.
Oh, okay.
So it
Sounds like you're not
bad.
impressed.
It's just I've never been to one where the line didn't take longer than the drink.
Yeah, it's like In and Out.
Yeah. Like you could eat 2 In-N-Out meals before you get your
Yeah.
meal at In-N-Out. Yeah, it's
sure.
the same thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dutch Brothers. You know what? I might mark that for it's a thing. If it's coming to L.A.
It's moving down. There's tons of them all over the place in SeaTac. And of course, here in Alaska, we got the little coffee shacks that are like literally a shack.
Yeah, this looks like a little shack,
Oh no,
but yours is smaller. You're saying it's actual shack.
that looks
not-
like a permanent
not
building.
kind of
Tom.
looks like it's not a regular building meant to look like a shack. It's an actual shack.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
like a garden shack that somebody put in the middle.
Yeah,
of the
it's a
asphalt.
shed. Is really what it is.
Yeah, it's a shed with some plumbing and some electricity.
All right. We're about to wrap up office hours a little early. Anybody got questions? Love to do Q&As at the end of these. So if everybody, I know one of you will just ask a question because I asked. So anybody else, throw them in as well. Larry in Atlanta says, those shows were too late for me. I had shows like Captain Kangaroo. Yeah, we had Captain Kangaroo. You were probably at the beginning of Captain Kangaroo and it's black and white and everything though.
I barely remember Captain Kangaroo. I wasn't a big fan of the show.
I think Larry was probably in the black and white era and into color. I was in fully color, and then Captain Kangaroo sort of faded out in the 90s.
Tom, if you had to choose one show that was formative for your like grade school years, like I'm talking like 1st to 6th grade, before junior high.
Yeah.
What would it be?
Star Trek,
Okay.
the original series, was a Sunday morning watch with my dad. Like
Okay.
after the cartoons were done, when Dad was starting to settle in to get ready to watch football, Star Trek would come on Channel 11, I think at like 10 a.m. or 10:30 a.m. And he would always watch it with me because he was in the Navy. So he liked that they used all the Navy terms and stuff. And he thought it was cool that they were in space. And yeah, that was like a bonding experience to watch Star Trek.
Nice.
Kids programming wise, the Letter People, but that was younger than what you were defining it as. But the Letter People was huge for me. I loved the Letter People. This is a St. Louis show though, so I'm not sure if anybody else even knows what it is.
For me, it was Mr. Wizard.
Oh yeah, I never really watched Mr. Wizard.
Don Herbert.
Yeah,
Yeah, that show was just like, if that show was on, even if I'd already seen it, everything else stopped so I could watch that show.
I always felt like I missed out on Mr. Wizard. Like I heard everyone talk about how great it was, and it seemed great, but I just
It always bothers me because I'll mention something and my kids will be like, "How did you know that?" And I'm like, "Oh, I learned that on Mr. Wizard."
By the way, Ken Wharf 04, there is a link to the Tylenol episode, the doctor interview that I was talking about earlier at dailytechnewsshow.com. I will put it in all of our chat room now as well. But if you go to dailytechnewsshow.com and scroll down, you look for the Ethan Kane post. Amos made the post from September 28th. That's there. Batfink says Blue Peter in the UK, another one I've heard a lot about. I've sort of seen clips of it. They made fun of it on Monty Python. That's how I first became aware of it. BioCow says, Alf, great show, changed my life, made me the man I am today. Why am I so ornery?
Yeah, that was a fun show too. I loved Alf.
G. James B says, I have no idea how much Blue Peter I've seen on my Doctor Who DVDs. The Tomorrow People. Yeah, I've heard of that too.
What was that show? It ran right next to Reading Rainbow. We've talked about it before.
Electric Company?
Is that the one that had like the detectives?
Oh no, 321 Contact.
Yeah.
And yeah, though there's another one too. Blake 7, Danger Mouse. That's not what Amos is talking about. People are just still saying formative shows. The Bloodhound Gang.
The Bloodhound Gang was the segment.
Yeah, but was that in 321 Contact or was that in a different? Well, let's
if only we had a vast network of interconnected
an interconnected network of information. What show was the Bloodhound Gang in? There was a bloodhound yelling at 7 the other day when I was walking around. 321 Contact.
Okay. Yeah, Bloodhound Gang was like Encyclopedia Brown books in TV show form.
Yep.
And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so great.
I used to watch 321 Contact because my brother would watch it after school and it would be on while I would type up the newspaper I did for my 6th grade class.
So you just always wanted to be a journalist.
I guess. Kind of did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to read Encyclopedia Brown books, and they'd be like 5 or 6 stories in each book. And I would check it out from the library, and I'd read the story and wait until he was about to solve it, and then I'd sit there and think on it overnight on how he could solve it, and then I'd read the solution and then the next story the next day and stop before the solution happened.
That's kind of cool. I love
the next day to do that. And I probably had about a 30 to 50% success rate with my, like maybe I didn't get it exactly, but I usually got at least a fairly decent idea. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I loved Encyclopedia.
Yeah, I loved Danny Dunn. Did you know Danny Dunn? The Danny Dunn series? Encyclopedia Brown. I read those about the same time growing up. All right, folks. We're going to end the office hours there. We did start it a little earlier, so I think you get a full hour here. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Amos, for hanging out in the office hours.
Anytime. I love coming on here with you.
Yeah, I love having you. We'll live with it tomorrow on the live, and then DTNS live on Thursday. Talk to you soon.